There's nothing more discouraging than scratching the surface of your garden bed and finding a dry, cracked, pale layer of lifeless earth underneath. It doesn't matter how much compost you toss on top. If the base is dead, the roots won't dive deep, worms won't move in, and your plants will barely survive. Most gardeners think the answer lies in adding more organic matter on the surface. But what if the real solution lies in using something unexpected? Clay. That's right, not to build with, but to ferment. And when you activate it properly, it becomes one of the most powerful tools for rehydrating, recharging, and waking up dead soil from below. What we're talking about today is the clay crust trick, a sticky living layer that does more than hold moisture. It draws in microbes, it attracts worms, and it turns dusty, compacted soil into a slow-release humus machine. Let's dig in. Why dead soil needs a deeper fix. When we call soil dead, we're usually looking at a system where biological life has collapsed. The fungi are gone. Bacteria aren't cycling nutrients. Earthworms are absent. Water barely soaks in. This kind of soil is often high in mineral content but locked tight, especially in areas with old red clay, compacted sandy subsoil, or years of neglect. The biggest mistake gardeners make is trying to wake this soil up only from above, treating it like dry skin with lotion instead of deeply nourishing it from the inside. That's where clay, yes, the stuff many of us curse, can become the hero. But not raw, hard, sun-baked clay. The secret lies in fermenting it and using organic acids to create a sticky, breathable crust that feeds microbes from below. And once microbial life begins to colonize that layer, the transformation begins. What is the clay crust trick? Well, imagine creating a living, sponge-like crust below your mulch that doesn't repel water. It actually absorbs it, holds it, and slowly feeds it downward. This is done by mixing powdered red clay or dug-up clay soil with warm water and an organic acid source like vinegar, diluted molasses, or fermented plant juice. The mixture is allowed to sit for a day or two, where it begins a mild fermentation. What happens during that time is subtle but, honestly, pretty powerful. The organic acids begin breaking bonds within the clay particles, softening them. At the same time, anaerobic microbes, especially those from wild ferments, start building a colony inside the slurry. When applied in a thin, damp layer just beneath mulch or on top of loosened soil, this clay slurry becomes a microbial seedbed. It holds onto moisture far longer than compost alone, and the acidic nature temporarily lowers the pH in that zone just enough to stimulate fungal growth. Worms, especially native ones, are drawn to this rich, sticky environment because it mimics the structure of moist subsoil, and as they move in, their castings further inoculate and aerate the compacted layers underneath. So to make the slurry, you'll want to start by gathering some red clay, either from your own subsoil or by picking up some powdered clay from the store. Next, just mix it with warm, dechlorinated water in a bucket until you get a thick, batter-like consistency. After that, add a splash of apple cider vinegar, or if you prefer, a small dose of sugarcane molasses. And if you want to take it even further, you can blend in a handful of wild fermented weed tea, or maybe a bit of finished compost extract. Give it a good stir, then let it sit for about 24 to 48 hours in the shade, keeping it loosely covered. You'll know it's ready when it starts to smell kind of earthy sour, and you see some visible bubbles, or maybe the lid is a little swollen. Now, dig small trenches or shallow basins wherever you want to repair the soil. Just a few inches deep will do the trick. Pour the fermented slurry in, and then immediately cover it with a layer of rough mulch. Dry leaves, chopped grass, or aged straw all work perfectly. Within a few days, you'll notice the soil underneath stays damp a lot longer. In a week or two, you'll probably start to see fungi threads and worm trails showing up, especially if you keep the area nice and moist. This crust, honestly, becomes a permanent hydration and biological launchpad for your soil. Clay, by its nature, holds water and minerals tightly. But when you mix it with organic acids and fermentation organisms, it really changes. The surface area actually becomes coated in life, sticky, microbe-dense, and just a bit acidic, which is honestly ideal for beneficial fungi. This is super crucial in soils where those helpful fungi are missing. Unlike raw compost, which can dry out or even wash away, the fermented clay crust sticks right to the surface and slowly, over time, feeds deeper into the soil. Even in sandy, dusty, or crusted-over garden beds, this trick creates what you might call a transformation zone where water, microbes, and worms all come together. And once the microbial life starts moving, the soil really begins changing texture from the bottom up. Humus formation kicks in as the fungi and worms digest the crust and your soil starts to develop that dark, crumbly texture plants love. This isn't just a one-time fix. The clay crust trick works as a long-term humus builder, especially when paired with deep mulching. The fermented clay captures organic residues from above and filters them downward. Over time, this interface becomes the humus horizon, building real fertility without constant inputs. And because it doesn't rely on synthetic fertilizers or frequent digging, it's ideal for no-till and regenerative gardens. Gardeners in dry climates or on degraded land will especially benefit because this method locks in hydration and provides microbes with a stable base. It's also perfect for transforming old raised beds or recovering exhausted garden rows that no longer produce. Sometimes the most unexpected materials can become your greatest allies in the garden. Clay is often blamed for compacted, poor soil, but when you understand its power and pair it with natural fermentation, it becomes a secret weapon for soil revival. The clay crust trick isn't flashy, it's sticky, it smells a bit odd, but it works, and it works fast. If your beds are struggling, your compost dries too quickly, or your plants just don't root deeply, this might be the one missing layer your garden needs. Try it, watch how fast the life comes back. And if this guide helped you see clay in a new light, don't forget to subscribe to Hydro Haven and share this video with a fellow gardener who's struggling with dead soil. More living soil secrets are coming soon, so stay rooted and we'll see you in the next one.